Hall of Fame coach Phil Jackson appearing on a podcast and explaining why he's not watching the NBA. Jackson had issue with slogans used in the bubble in 2020. Here's what Jackson had to say, quote, "They had things on their back like justice, and a funny thing happened, like justice just went to the basket and equal opportunity knocked him down. Some of my grandkids thought it was pretty funny to play up those names. I couldn't watch it. It was trying to cater to an audience or trying to bring a certain audience to the game, and they didn't know what was turning other people off. People want to see sports as non-political. Politics stays out of the game. It doesn't need to be there." Shannon, what's your reaction to what Phil Jackson had to say?
Skip, how old you think Phil is?
How old?
Yeah.
77?
Can you tell dumb politics has always been in sports? Ali. Jack Johnson.
Yeah.
Go back in history of the time. Politics have always been in sports. Jesse Owens.
You remember Phil when he played basketball for the New York Knicks?
Yes.
You know what he was? He was an angry young man, anti-establishment.
Anti-war.
Yep.
Oh, but all of a sudden now.
Dabbled in mind-altering drugs.
Now all of a sudden now. It turns him off. He's like, they're trying to, what do you say, trying to appeal to an audience? I don't know if you noticed this, Phil, but like 75, 80% of the NBA players,
I think he noticed.
that audience, they watching. They didn't need to appeal to Bill.
Yes. I think black players carried Phil to all those rings, right?
But, Skip, it's amazing. My grandfather used to always say, boy, be careful. People might not need you, but they damn sure use you. Shaq can't do anything for Phil. Kobe, rest his soul, can't do anything for Phil. Michael and Scotty and Dennis Rodman and Cartwright can't do a damn thing for Phil.
Yeah.
I don't watch the game. I don't care nothing about what's on the court. Can they put the ball in the basket? They're going to D up. I want to see the shot making. I want to see the ball handling. I want to see the creativity. I ain't watching what's on no damn court. I can care less.
Yep.
What's in the end zone? When they put, black lives, whatever they are, equal opportunity and justice and truth, and
Yep.
that ain't got nothing to do with it. I want to see the man carry the ball, see him catch it, see him throw it. Oh, Tom Brady's a man, I ain't throwing no touchdown. The truth in the end zone. I ain't throwing no touchdown there. Come on, Phil. You sound foolish. But Skip, I didn't really know a whole lot about Phil, just watched him from a distance. But when he did that piece on LeBron, it told me everything I needed to know about Phil.
That's true.
It told me everything he didn't need to say another word, and I already knew. I'm going to take a man how he is.
Yep.
I ain't trying to change him. I'm going to take him as he is.
Yep.
I'm taking Phil Jackson as he is. I see him for what he is. I'm cool with that. I'm just going to move on. But Glad, stay up in Montana. All you got to do is stay up in Montana. Ain't nobody thinking about no Phil Jackson. Who thinking about Phil? Who? Stay up in Montana, your little cabin or wherever you get your palatial, and you don't have to worry about basketball. It's good without you.
By the way, the first-round TV ratings this year for the first round of the playoffs are the best in 10 years. Somebody's watching.
Everybody watching it. It turned him off. It doesn't take much to turn you off.
Shannon Sharp, I do know Phil Jackson. I covered him and observed him very closely in 1998 during the Last Dance season in Chicago. He was known then as the Zen Master. I started in the Chicago Tribune calling him the Spin Master, because he was a lot of hypocritical hocus pocus.
Right.
Scottie Pippen wound up calling him a racist, but we even go back to Kobe Bryant.
Right.
Remember, he blasted Kobe Bryant in a book that he did after they had won their 3.
Yeah.
And he said he was nothing close to Michael Jordan,
Right.
and he was uncoachable. And then somehow he smoked a peace pipe with Kobe, I guess, like effectively smoked a peace pipe. I don't know how he did it, but he was a Svengali with both Jordan and Kobe and then Shaq.
Right.
He was a Rasputin. He somehow could cast his spell over these superstars in ways that shocked me because they couldn't see through him.
Right.
They bought his BS, and it was a lot of BS, but it worked. And I've always said he was the greatest juggler of superstar egos I've ever seen. But the final irony of this was Michael quit playing basketball in 1998 because he so loved, he was so loyal to, he was so committed to Phil Jackson.
Right.
The whole MO of that year, the whole theme of the year, as presented by Phil, was they're pushing me out the back door in favor of Tim Floyd, some coach from Iowa State. He started calling him Pink Floyd after the 60s rock group. And yet, that was not what was happening. Phil didn't want to continue after 1998 because he knew the cap was going to force them, because they were getting old and they were going to have to rebuild around Michael.
Right.
And he didn't want to rebuild, and he made it clear to Reinsdorf and Jerry Krause, I just don't want to be here. But the motivational theme was, you're trying to push me out the back door. And Michael swallowed it. Michael quit for 3 years. He did. He quit Shannon. He gave up 3 years of the back end of his prime. He did not come back in Washington until he was 39 and 40 years of age, when he was a shell of himself. He had fallen out of the kind of condition that Tim Grover had him in 1998. If he had continued on that pace, even if they'd had to rebuild around him, could he have won at least one more? I believe he could have won one more championship.
But Skip, the lure is that he wins championship. If you notice, he didn't take any jobs that didn't involve Jordan and Pippen or Shaq and Kobe.
Well, he went right from Jordan to Shaq and Kobe.
But he had an opportunity to coach. Oh, Phil's going to coach again. Phil wanted no parts of coaching. Now, Skip, we can't argue. He's a great head coach. He's a terrible team builder. He's awful.
Well, we saw it in action in New York.
He's terrible.
He was terrible.
So this notion that, he can't pick talent. He can coach it, but he can't pick it.
No, he cannot pick it. And he and Jeannie supposedly remain close because they were an item for a long time. But now Jeannie says when he comes to L.A., we have breakfast or lunch or whatever.
But he was just at the game.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
So how you go to a game and not watch it?
The point is, if I'm Jeannie, I'm calling him saying, can you lay off my product here? Because, you're saying a segment of the audience is not
can you lay off the product? The product.
Well, it is, but it's everything she does. Her whole livelihood is based on what you're talking about.
Skip, let me ask you a question. I mean, coming up in the late 60s and 70s, how many no more war signs you think Phil had? How many protests did he went to? Because all the hippies was protesting in Vietnam.
He was Deadhead, as in Grateful Dead follower. Yep, I got it.
But it's funny how like the country, this great country of America was founded on protest. And seemingly everybody hate protests now.
Okay. Hypocritical hocus pocus. There he is, personified. As they used to call him derisively, Big Chief Triangle.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, we're running out of time, so I want to move along to this Eastern Conference playoff lineup. How will the Sixers-Celtics series look if Embiid isn't fully ready to go?
He'll be ready.
Let's dive into this one. We're back in just a moment.